Hey people, it's Ebony. Welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Make yourself at home by clicking that subscribe button. Thank you. Okay, so today I want to talk about how I went from living at home with my parents to buying a home, specifically a duplex at 25, and the 5 things I did before that purchase. So it'll be almost 2 years. Actually, it will be 2 years in a couple weeks of me having that duplex, which, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Time really flew. So a lot of people ask me, what did I do to buy it? A lot of friends and family. I get a lot of questions on social media as well. And I just figured, why not make a video of this? Buying a house takes a lot of steps. It really does. But I don't want it to overwhelm people, especially people my age that are thinking about taking that next step but just don't know where to start. So this is what this video is for. I want to talk about the steps that I took to get myself ready for that purchase. And just to cover it off, I am not a financial advisor in any way. I am not a finance queen. None of that. I am just saying what I did in order to purchase that duplex, which I've had for almost 2 years in the city of LA, and that consistently turns a profit every month. So if you want to learn more about that, stay tuned. So the very first thing that I did in my process when I knew that I was ready to buy a home was I found my lender, or my loan officer, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people might look at this and be like, what? Why would you do that first? They're like, huh? What? I don't even have my stuff together. Like, I shouldn't call him or her yet. Like, what's going on? It was so important for me to get that part of my process started first, because a lender can look at where you are financially and let you know what you would be capable of getting from them in order to make your purchase. For example, when I graduated college in 2016, and I didn't have any money. I was not working, but I knew that I wanted to get a home. In my first job, I had my paycheck. Of course, I didn't have any savings, but I went to my lender and they were able to tell me, okay, girl, your savings are a little abysmal. Your paycheck is okay. This is the amount of money that I can give you right now. And let's say it was like $250,000. And I knew I was not finding a duplex in LA with $250,000, right? But that gave me a starting point, because then I was able to say, okay, so if I were to save $30,000, would you guys be like, how much more would I be able to get from you, you know? And they can crunch those numbers. Or if they say, you want a duplex, okay, let's assume that the income from the other unit will get you this much. This is how much I can get you, right? And that gave me a good starting point, because I was able to say, okay, maybe I'm not good right now where I'm at, but I can save up to this amount of money, or I can expect that I need to get a raise in the next year or so in order to make this amount of money to get where I need to go. So a lender is really great because they tell you where you're starting at, and it's a working relationship. You can check back in every quarter, like after you've saved enough, or maybe you switched your jobs, like you can check in and they can tell you what you are willing to get at that point that you're at right now. This video right now isn't built to go super in depth on like how to find a lender and stuff like that. But if you are really interested in that, let me know in the comments below and I can make a video about how I found my lender, because I know there's steps to that as well. Just general rule of thumb that I found is that banks are a little bit more conservative for me, and so I did not end up going with bank. But yeah, if you want a more in-depth video, I can definitely do that for you. So that was number one. Number two for me, after I found my lender and after I got that baseline number from them, was to start researching my market. And by that, I mean, do you know what city that you want to live in, that you're trying to buy in? And breaking it down even more than that, do you know the zip codes? Do you know the area? And have you driven around there? Have you gone to open houses to see how much homes are going for, or even just checking through Redfin or Zillow, or honestly all of them, and seeing how much a home is going for in that area? After your lender has told you, okay, I can maybe give you $300,000. Does that cut it? You know, like if, for example, going back to mine, it was like 250 to 275. I run around my zip codes and I was like, yeah, absolutely not. This is laughable, okay? Like, this is LA. Like, this is not gonna happen. Like, how can I do this, you know? And so after getting that information and then going and seeing what the market is, I was able to understand that gap and decide, okay, I need at least 150,000 more from my loan in order to make this work. And with that being said, like, you don't know that until you research your area and figure out exactly what works and what doesn't. And then also, you know, you might have an idea of the home that you want, but without seeing it and seeing what's around, you might say, like, I want, you know, the white picket fence and I want this and I want that. And the area that you're looking at, they don't have that. All they have is townhomes, you know? Just get familiar with your area and figure out what works and what doesn't. And also just set your expectations. Now we're on number 3. And number 3 is the kicker, y'all. It is to get them finances together, okay? Get them together, okay? You already know how much your lender gave you. You know what the gap is now because you did your market research. Now it is time to really budget. We can go a little bit more in depth about budgeting in another video. I'm actually still like, it's something that you never really just set and forget. Like I'm at a place right now where I even need to revamp on top of what I've already been doing, because my old budgeting ways aren't as helpful as they used to be. I think I need to just kind of go in and tweak a few things here and there. So if you are wanting to see something like that from me, I would definitely put something together. But yeah, it's time to work out your budget. Like, do you have a good grip on what you spend your money on and how much you're saving? The ways in which you're saving, like, do you know? Like, I remember I used to be the type of person where I swipe my card, and if the card worked, then cool. I don't need to look at my account. I don't need to know what's going on. Okay, all I know is I have money in there, and that's that. And it might have even been coming from a scarcity mindset, and also I just didn't have a great relationship with my money. Like, I was okay with it, but it wasn't great. And if I have my sights set on something so big as like a home purchase or a duplex purchase specifically, I gotta get familiar. Okay, I gotta know what's going on in that chase. So when I was living at home, I sat down and, like, first of all, I want to say I understand the privilege of even being able to live at home while you're getting yourself together. A lot of people can't say that. So I definitely don't take that for granted because my parents really helped me out. Like, they knew that I was saving up for something big, and they said, take all the time that you need. And I really appreciate that. So I was able to sit down, work out how much I needed to save each week in order to get to that number, which was like, I think it was about like $30,000 in savings, and how long it would take me, because like I said, I was working on it was my very first job out of college. I was not rolling in dough. Okay. So I had to figure out a way to do that. And I knew it would take a couple years. So get those finances together. Have a serious talk with yourself on how you want to get there. For me, something that I struggled with a little bit was like being frugal. That word frugal just had a really negative connotation in my head because I would think about Mr. Krabs when I thought of the word frugal, and I just never wanted to live like that. I don't want money to rule my every thought and action, and I also didn't want to be that crabby person. It's like I remember there used to be this show called like Extreme Cheapskates. Like, when I thought of the word frugal, I thought of those people like reusing paper towels and stuff. Like, I just would like run from that word. But then I had to sit down and I had to reframe it in my head. Like, I was still able to go out and have fun and stuff, but in moderation. Like, it had to be a part of my budget, and that is the biggest takeaway. I can put some money down for eating out with my friends, but it needs to be within that budget. And once I was able to do that and reframe it, it was so much more freeing to also like just know where my money is going, and knowing that I wasn't super restricted. Like, I worked with myself. And that's the biggest thing I'll take away about having a budget. But yeah, not to go too off the rails, but get your finances together, y'all. Okay, so number 4 is realtor. So if you notice, all of these steps come after the other. Like, it's not no particular order. Like, I'm definitely, like, what I did was do these things right after the other. Once I got my finances together and got close to my goal, that is when I called the realtor, because you don't want to do that prematurely. Because if you have a good realtor, that realtor is showing you a house that Saturday. You call her on Monday, she's showing you a house on Saturday. And if you have not done step number 3, getting your finances together, it's moot. Like, you know what I mean? And also, a realtor is going to think that you're not serious, because you aren't, because you don't have your stuff together. So I would definitely say, get the realtor after you have that stuff worked out, because you want them to work really hard to get you that property, and you want to be ready when they find something for you. And let me tell you something, I went through a lot of realtors when I bought this house. Part of it was because it was very new to me and I didn't have a lot of examples to work off of, a lot of people that have been in the same position as me. So when I was going through the motions, it was a little hard to know what was going on, which hopefully this video really helps you, because I didn't have that and I didn't look at that, number one. Number two, because I was young, I feel like a lot of realtors and a lot of people in general, even the loan people, I actually went through a couple, they didn't take me seriously. And it's not because I didn't have number 3, okay? It's because I was a young girl and they were like, girl, like, she is not actually serious. And then the last thing was also because even though I ended up finding my duplex, the numbers that I was working with were a little limiting. So I think that a lot of realtors thought it was a lot of work too. Like, I don't think she's serious, and I don't know if she's gonna find something in her budget. You know what I mean? So it took me a little bit of time to find that person that took me seriously and was hungry to find me something. And I'm really glad that I took my time with it and wasn't discouraged. So you might go through a couple of people, but I'm just saying, don't feel discouraged, okay? Like, you keep going until you find that right fit, because at the end of the day, it is your purchase, it is your debt, okay? And it is your investment to make. And you don't want to work with somebody that doesn't take it as seriously as you, because they're also going to get something out of this if they help you find your dream. So you want somebody to want you to find that dream. So yeah, all that to say, take your time finding your realtor, interview that person, okay? But also let them do their stuff, and put your trust in them once you find the right one. So that's number 4. One thing I would really recommend is, if you live in a big city like I do, make sure that you are finding somebody that services the zip codes that you want to live, that you are trying to buy a house in. So like, I found this really amazing realtor, but she was based in Long Beach. If I ever want to buy a home in Long Beach, I will definitely call her. But it was a bit of a struggle because she was amazing at what she did, but I wasn't trying to buy a home in Long Beach. So she just didn't know the market as well, and wasn't as comfortable, and just wasn't in the area like that, you know? And who I ended up with, I actually found her at a open house in the area that I was looking for a house in. And that is the number one thing that I would recommend, is if you're looking around in the vicinity of the place that you want to live in, go to those open houses and find the person showing that house, because they know their spots, they know the area, they probably have a bunch of listings, or if they don't, they will find them for you because they're familiar with the area. So that is how I ended up finding my place. We can go even more in depth, okay, because I can make a whole video about things I wish I knew, mistakes I made. Like, I came to that realization so late in the game, y'all. But I'm just glad I found it finally. And yeah, that's how I ended up actually finding my duplex, because she knew about something that wasn't even on the market yet, because that's the area that she was familiar with. So yeah, that's the last note on number 4. And lastly, number 5 is an easy one. It is just to get help, and ask people for referrals. So one of the big things, which I've probably mentioned a couple times before I got to this point, is that I did not know where to start. I did not know who to talk to. I did not have a lot of baseline knowledge, and I'm not in the industry. So yeah, you know what I mean? I need a lot of help. And you kind of get overwhelmed with like where to start. And what I found really, really helpful is just asking the people that you do find for referrals. So for example, for the loan officer, which is number 1, asking them, do you know a realtor? Do you know a contractor? Do you know somebody that can do inspections? Like all those things, you know, or when you find your realtor, ask them. They know contractors, they know inspectors, like they know all those people. So before you take the time and you get overwhelmed on Yelp and searching all these different avenues for all these people, ask the people in the industry for someone that they recommend, because it is really helpful and will save a lot of time. And yeah, that is number 5. So there you have it. Those are the 5 things that I did before buying my home. It's not everything, right? But these are the main things that I did. And it's a great starting point. If you want me to expand on any of the things that I brought up, I am happy to do that, because like I said, it's really easy to say, get a lender or get a realtor, but it's like, how, Ebony, how? So I'm definitely open to do that. I love talking about home stuff. I bought my duplex. I now have tenants in it, so I can even talk about that. And I definitely see myself buying another one and seeing what that process is like. So yeah, if you want to come with me on my journey of real estate investments and stuff like that, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment, something like that, and let's get this money, girls.